Boom, and we're here. Today is Thursday, March the 10th, 2022, and also a week from St. Patrick's Day. So I guess we'll have to
say so.
Isn't St. Patrick's Day the 17th or something like that?
Yeah, it's the 17th.
Okay, so we have to do the show on the 17th. And so we got to do a show on St. Patty's Day. Maybe we'll have some sort of green theme. Okay, it's your boy Laris, Music Monk ATL, the brother Rashid Muhammad.
Seven.
Yeah. So, interesting week. A lot of good stuff happened. Got some crazy feedback about the show last week.
Really?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got some calls, man, some messages, DMs. Yeah, man. Stop hating on the brothers. I'm not hating on the brothers. I'm just saying, man, be your real, authentic self, man. You know what cheating by definition is? Listen, if you want to have more than one woman, that's fine, but tell them or leave them. You know, cheating is when you have an unfair advantage on somebody, when you're doing something and then you don't want them to know what you're doing because you want them to hold in place while you do what you do. Sure. And it does have an impact. And so it's the same thing with hip-hop culture. It's the same thing with bad women. And Acts of War Part 3, not tonight, will deal with the issues surrounding a lot of our women. And I did Acts of War Part 1 for those that have short memories on Facebook, and I had pre-said that there would be an Acts of War Part 2. And so whatever. It's, you know, this stuff was written a long time ago. But for whatever reason, I don't know. So I had already said that probably over a month ago, you know, that there would be an Acts of War Part 2. There will be an Acts of War Part 3, and it's going to be more solution-based for what it is that we're dealing with. I traded in my Toyota Camry, and I think it was November. I think so. I wish I had it back. I filled up today. $117.
Yeah.
Oh, to fill up that gigantic tank that you drive?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, it's a GM.
There was a time.
It's a GM product, bro. Like, you're going to be at like 27.5 gallons, you know what I'm saying, for the tank on that one. It's a huge ass tank, bro.
Yeah.
When I said tank, I didn't mean gas tank. I meant tank.
It looks
like literally something that'll run people over. Just you can fire missiles at the thing and bounce off. What I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, and mine's 4-wheel drive too. Whatever,
which I'm sure also has a large tank.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
The tank is,
and they literally have like the gas tanks like on the back of the tanks. Well, at least they used to. They probably don't even probably shoot those things and catch on fire.
Yeah. So I was like, dang. I was thinking about that Camry, man. I was like, man. And that camera was nice too, man. Y'all need to see it.
What was your trim level?
What you mean?
What you mean?
What's your
package? What was your package, bro?
Oh, it was a SXZ or something like that.
You don't know? Okay.
Man, look, I'm trying to think. It was
Did it have like body skirts along the side and like a weird TRD spoiler on the back, panoramic roof? Was it one of those Camrys or was it like?
It was the top of the line. It was like the XSC.
Okay, got you.
XSE or something.
XSE. Yes, got you.
Yeah.
All right. So it has some TRD badging on it, some Toyota Racing Development badging on it. You know.
Yeah, so
you had the one with the red leather on the inside. You had the red leather interior.
No, I had I had it. I had the black on black. Everything I get is black on black. You know, I got.
Hey man, that's the best way to go.
I got a pickup truck. I love it. You know,
it's the best way to go, man.
Yeah. All right, but I digress with that. So anyway,
man, that was progress, man. We talking about black on black trucks, man.
Yeah. I got a little Benz that's black on black too. Just a convertible though. It ain't nothing major. I got them washed.
This nigga said just a convertible.
Yeah, I got it washed. The AMG package. I got it washed.
AMG badging or AMG performance.
Performance.
We're car guys, man. You know I'm going to ask. We're car guys.
Yeah.
Bike guys. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit.
SL63 AMG.
All right. You talking the right. You talking the right nomenclature.
Yeah, hard top convertible. I'm sorry, because I didn't know what you were gonna ask. But to the meat of it. So I'm in transportation. A lot of people hit me up saying, "Okay, well, how's your business?" I have gotten a lot of calls about business. I've gotten calls from drivers who are in the business because of the cost of diesel going up. It's a reality. That's where it is. And with regard to this whole Russia-Ukraine thing, see, the gas was already up anyway. Diesel was up anyway. And I just don't understand. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is do people in the United States care that much about a problem they don't know to where now we're going to boycott the imports of Russian 10%? 10% of our crude oil comes from.
No, it's 5%, bro.
I think it's like 3. But the thing is that oil is globally traded, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean,
if it goes down one place, unless you're energy independent like we used to be till we started shutting down pipelines and
right,
stuff like
it
that.
all comes back down to the pipelines.
But
and who wanted to shut down the pipeline?
The D's.
All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. So, but we're gonna get into all of that because I think that's important for purposes of discussion. The reality of things is this though. When I talk to people about transportation, and I was talking to one of my younger junior brokers, and another young lady who you guys actually know is a good young lady who wants to come on. We were talking about some things, and I said the cost is going to get passed on to consumer because drivers got to make their mint. You know what I mean? And so it's going to go up. They're going to pass it along. And here goes the recession right here, right? And so everything goes up around you. And I really got to thinking. So I'm kind of creating my house in a way where I'm going to show you guys some pictures. I'm creating my house in a way to where I can just enjoy my house. I don't have to go out. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say, you know what? I'm not going to be going out as much. That's going to drive down. That's going to hit the labor market in terms of the bottle girls and all of these people. I already saw it. I already saw it. I'm telling you. Here's what I'm saying is that that's going to be another sector that's going to be hit. People are going to start
the bottle girl.
I'm saying going out things that don't things that have
I feel you. Frivolous spending.
Okay.
Frivolous
things
spending.
that have we're businessmen.
I get you.
Things that have a inelastic demand in society will stay where they are. But if it's something that people can take or leave. Okay, so
why
maybe,
don't you explain price elasticity to people who may not know what you're talking about?
So all right. Here goes microeconomics. This is some of that $80,000 from Morehouse. All right. There are certain things that they put excise tax on. That's why the governor, they always do that when gas goes up. The governor says, "Oh, I'm gonna like things that they know you have to have." Like I think cigarettes, alcohol, gas. There are certain things that they know that the demand for them will not go down, regardless of how much the price goes up or inflation or just whatever's happening in the land. But everything else, for the most part, is kind of, food obviously too. But everything else is kind of elective, right? You know what I mean? And so, I say that to say, you get a haircut every week, or you cut your own hair?
I shave my head, yeah.
You do a good job too. What about you? You shave yours?
You already know I do my own shit.
Okay. Oh, damn it. All right. Put it like this. If you get your hair cut once a week, maybe you'll do it every 2 weeks now. You know what I mean? It's going to have a trickle effect on everything that is elective, per se. Here's the good thing.
Bottle girls.
Bottle girls.
Are elective.
Listen, man, let me tell you something.
Bottle girls and hookah.
I'm going to tell you something.
Elective.
I had to stay with my dad for a period of time while I was covering. I was like, you know what, man? I just was sitting by myself one day. I was like, so I found a lounge close by in Lithonia. A lounge. New lounge. Lights look good. I decided I'd go in there. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And I'm in there just kind of down on my luck, per se, in terms of I'm going through some loneliness or whatever. And so I like talking to people. That's why we do what we do. Girl comes over. Hey, can I get this, that, and the other? It's been slow. Can I get a drink? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Well, no problem. was $10, right?
This is a bottle girl saying that, or just a random? Okay, all right, that wasn't clear.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was a work.
So an employee came to you asking you to buy her a drink.
Bring it over here. Bring it over here. Yeah. Because I know you're gonna have some bill-worthy moments on the horizon.
Keep going. And then she comes back. She's like, "It's really been slow." She was like, "Do you like hookah?" I said, "No, I don't. I don't do any of that." She's like, "Well, do you mind if I get one?" I said, "Well, how much is hookah?" She's like, $30.
Expensive and profitable.
Actually, it was like $30.
I mean, compared to what it costs. It's super high market.
No, I believe it. I had bought my wife one, a really nice one that was like $120 or something like that.
Yeah, it's like.
So I know they just keep using it over and over again and charging people $30.
Per use.
It's like smoking 100 cigarettes in one sitting.
Okay. So, at any rate, I'm just sitting there talking because I got nothing else to do. And so I leave, whatever, Something about me maybe reeked of, maybe he got something. I don't know what it was. You know what I mean? And mind you, I'm dressed like this today, but I went in there looking like who did it and what at that time. And so.
Maybe he got something, you mean like money or AIDS?
Money. Oh God!
No, I'm just like, you mean a disease or you mean money?
Money, because I developed the rest of the story. Okay. So I go back in there, and she said I went back in there a couple weeks after that. Same thing, didn't have nothing to do. That was golly. And she said, "Well, hey, she was like, she's like, things have just been slow in here." And now this is before all this stuff. And she was just like, "I'm trying to get some money up so that I can get my daughter some clothes."
Man, she's just wow. She's ATM.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay. She had explained to me that she had been having some problems with money, and the good thing was, I explained to her that I had also been going through the same thing like that. And so I said, I understand. I said, now you know that, I even told her, I took it a step further. And genuinely, because this is an actor's venue, whenever you ready, you can pull it up or whatever. This is an actor's venue, so I become an actor too. Everybody's a thespian. Thespian, TH. Look up what that is. It is not lesbian.
An actor.
And so everybody's an actor in these places. You know what I mean? These are not real places. You cannot take what people say seriously. And so I told her, I said, I had been looking into a job with Home Depot. You know what I mean? I said, I hear they're hiring for about $20. And what was so interesting was, she said, well, she was like, nah, man. She was like,
why would she do that when she could just ask dudes at her job for money?
Right.
Which is what she has been saying. She's been grooming you this whole time.
But after
that's all I've been hearing.
Well, I've never been back. But you
caught on. It's like, I get it. Yeah. I'm Home Depot.
Because they used to
you're her job.
Right.
they used to find somebody that they can.
Yeah.
They just want to be able to take a bottle to somebody and then get $100 from some baller or something like that. Now look, that was before this thing hit. Once it hits,
she's gonna have to find someone closer to home to beg just to get some gas money.
Yeah.
I just filled up on the way here. Diesel is I think $5.30, $5.40 a gallon.
Yeah.
She's astronomical, man.
Yeah. So
it's crazy. I
talked to a good friend of mine, Daryl, out there in Dallas, and I said, Daryl, I think I'm going crazy, man. You know what I mean? And I said, I have been through a lot of things, man. I think it's changed me, man. I'm going crazy. And then he said, Daryl come back and say, well, he was like, why are you crazy in general for being around anybody that wants to waste your time? He's like, how does that make you crazy? And I said, you know what? I didn't think about it like that. I guess you're right. He was like, you want my opinion? This was good medicine. This was like castor oil from back in the day. And he was like...
He hated that shit, though. So
yeah, but if you could keep it down, though, it would do you some good. You know what I mean? So
it's a good selling point.
Yeah, but he said, he was like, listen, man, he said, I think you were crazy before. He said, now I think you're catching a clue. I was like, ooh. So So, nonetheless, with these truckers and people in transportation, what is perhaps the most interesting thing to me is that people are feeling very philanthropic and sorry for the Ukrainians. And I'm like, well, shoot, man, if we lose the oil that we are getting from the Russians, ain't the cost going to go up even more? And why? Does anybody know what happened between Russia and Ukraine? Why are we sympathetic to things that we don't know, domestic disputes that we don't know anything about?
I mean, I would say a few things. One thing is, remember why Trump got impeached the first time? Mm-hmm. Like we've been meddling in Ukraine for a minute, and I'm not saying anything to kind of justify the kind of aggression that Putin has indulged in, but like we have been involved in Ukraine in a big way since probably at least like 2008 or so, definitely during the late Bush, late Bush, Obama, and Biden played a big part in it. And, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that his son was put on the board of an oil company in Ukraine and had no experience in the oil industry. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny how, you know, if Trump was president, Trump was bending over backwards for a country that's not really strategically important to us, and his son had been on the board of the major oil company in that country. The media would be out of their motherfucking minds right now.
That shit. I was like, this was his whole point of being elected. Apparently, this was going to happen. Russia has like no real geographic protection. So it's like you looking around and you're surrounded by fucking NATO everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but nobody won't punch him.
Well, I mean, he still got nukes.
He does have that. That's what keeps
you know what I'm saying?
him from
like,
being Saddam Hussein.
And then China is like their biggest ally.
Their biggest trading partner.
Yeah, China has been. But if you look at that UN vote, you look at the people that either voted no or abstained. They were all former communist countries or very leftist, like a lot of African countries were like no, or not no, but they
abstained. They decided not to join.
They decided not to join what?
I could have sworn I just saw where it said that the Ukraine decided not to join. What was it?
NATO. They decided not to. Yeah, well, they said. Yeah, well, yeah. After the country's been bombed half the shit,
and the president's trying to. Nobody won't help them.
Yeah, because nobody. Well, number one, they can't help them without like starting a real war.
Exactly.
With Russia. It's a tough situation, man. But again, I feel like the coverage has just been so one-sided, and I feel like you know, but again, that's like the last like 5 years for me though. Like I just feel like our media has you know, it's a hard job and it's hard to do well, but it has been just particularly terrible over the last 5 years or so.
What, the media?
Yes.
I mean, people talk about
Since
North
Trump.
Korea having government media. Actually, Trump fought the media. I'm gonna get to that too. We talk about government-run. This thing comes on. I'm sorry, guys.
It's fine.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
We talk about government-run media, and ours is the same. So I had put some symbols up earlier, right? I put a symbol up of Aunt Jemima, a symbol of Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, and a picture of a Michelangelo picture of Jesus.
Okay.
You talking about Caesar Borgia? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you talking about Caesar Borgia.
And so my point is that I said, so the topic of the show actually is what is real discrimination versus discretion in terms of what's appropriate or not, right? Discrimination versus discretion. And I say that the reason I bring that up and the reason why I think that is relatively important is because the LGBT community is outraged about the bill in Florida about them not being able to talk to elementary school kids about sexuality. So I'm going to let y'all do what you do with this, but I'm going to just throw this out there real quick. I took my daughter to Six Flags one time. We're waiting in line. And I seen two heterosexual teenagers making out, smooching, petting each other heavy, all of that. I felt uncomfortable.
Knock that shit off, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I didn't want my daughter to see that. My cheeks started to get kind of rosy. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm trying to say is that I think that sex talk in general to elementary school kids is inappropriate unless it comes from the home. So to label it discrimination, by the way, happy belated International Women's Day. Was that 2 days ago? Hey, when's Men's Day? When is it?
So like,
that's discrimination.
No,
we should go and get criticized.
Hey, man, calm down. I got you, bro. I got you.
Shouldn't we get picked? That's discrimination.
I got something for you.
Okay, go ahead.
So like 2 weeks after Valentine's Day, do you know what day that is?
The 14th?
No, 2 weeks after. It's like steak and a blowjob day or some shit. So like that's like
I didn't even know about that. They keep all the good shit hidden.
Hey man, no,
you know,
it's on Pinterest, my nigga.
Yeah.
I don't know, but seriously though, I mean that is a real thing though. It's a real thing.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
November 19th is the answer, in case y'all were wondering.
Okay, listen. Here's my point, and that's a good point. Now we know. I ain't hear about it. Why ain't brothers posted? I was on social media November 19th. Ain't nobody. I didn't see no deuces. You know what I mean? We in A. Come on, man. But here's the point. You can find discrimination in anything that you want to find it in. That was my point. I don't care about any of that stuff.
And a lot of celebratory moments in life are, in my opinion, catered towards women and children. But like Valentine's Day, obviously, Christmas. And you could argue Thanksgiving. You could argue it. I mean, it's plenty. Birthdays, I think women get more excited about celebrating their birthdays and things and such.
So all right. So I digress slightly. What is like the quintessential like masculine holiday then? I feel like there's only one answer.
The Super Bowl.
Okay, two answers. 4th of July. It would have to be
because of guns.
Well, but if it's that, Memorial Day would have to kind of be.
It's a toxic ass question. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying. But I'm just thinking like in terms of like Day. Other like other examples of what .
Yeah, I don't know.
Memorial Day, is which is technically
because
black
most of
holiday.
these people are dudes. I mean, most of the people that are celebrating Memorial Day are like soldiers who are men. Mm-hmm. Like Veterans Day, the same way. That's changing a little bit, but not as far as like the battlefield goes. It's not changing a lot.
The origins are rooted in Black history, though. So it's probably more relevant than Juneteenth in a lot of ways. But you just got what I'm saying. If it interests you.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even care about having a holiday. I think that every time we come here, this is a men's holiday. You know what I mean? When we come and do beer and conversation.
I don't give a fuck.
But I don't care. I'm saying that there are people that are just so small-minded that they want to take everything and blow it up. Now, I have been out at Parlor, actually. Check this out.
Missed that place.
Well, maybe we should go. But I was out there at Parlor, and I was talking to some old, no, I'm not going to say. I was talking to some very mature women. And, just kind of like we have dialogue, how we have dialogue. And I guarantee you, if I had said, hey, I'm not taking a shot at gays. I'm not. I have gays in my family. I have a gay friend I'm cool with. And actually, I got more than one. You got to count the females, too. But if I had said to a black woman, I'm gay, she might have high-fived me and been like, well, I know it must have been hard on you growing up. I said that I was a conservative man, and they looked at me like they wanted to burn me at the stake. So what is discrimination? What is discrimination? I don't have a problem with people's point of views, taking it back to the pictures. I said, listen, if you're a Dem, fine. If you're a liberal, fine. The issues that I have had, and people have taken personal shots at me personally. Like, you bitch ass nigga, this, that, and that. I'm like, hold on, man. How we take this personal now, Because black folks, speaking of football, felt like we won the Super Bowl when they poured Aunt Jemima off of the syrup. Man, how many black kids growing up or black parents, when they was buying it, was like, had that oppressed feeling when they were buying that syrup for their pancakes? But that white Jesus, they got that. Y'all seen Good Times?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We see. It's an interesting point that, like, By like removing these prominent black symbols that you basically are just like white. So like, are you saying that like only white people can be on these things? But you got aunt and uncle in those names, which I know some people take offense to.
These things actually they have the reverse effect of what they were intended to do. You have these well-meaning, quote unquote, these well-meaning whites, these social justice warriors who want to view everything as being offensive. Americana has offensive things, associated with it.
Absolutely.
But there's also a beauty and a simplicity in the way of life and how people went about their daily lives that you can see in Uncle Ben. You can see it in Aunt Jemima. You know what I mean? I think sometimes, once again, we have to have kind of like this, like we have to be like a monolith when it comes to what's offensive. But that's not offensive to me. So when you take it away, now no one, we already have a very slim portion of what it was like when we weren't in some chains. You see what I'm saying? So when sometimes I hate to be like this, but I feel like we need to be like this because I feel like this kind of hurts us in the long run. If you don't look like me, if you're not in the trenches with me, don't be making decisions. You know what I'm saying? But also, I don't know about ownership either. I don't know about ownership, copyrights, trade rights. I don't know who actually owns those images. So I don't want to speak out of ignorance of what I don't know about the business behind the scenes. But our images do matter though. You know what I mean? So and then you have it's you can go all the way.
But what did we get when the Dems rallied post George Floyd and all that, and they pulled down Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben? What did we get, man?
The Black Lives Matter Patrice Cullors got like 3 mansions and moved as far away from black people as she could. I mean, somebody got something.
I was just having this conversation.
Well, I mean, listen, the Supreme Court Justice appointee, I know what she's going to get. She's going to get a lifetime appointment. She's going to be sitting on the most powerful court in the world.
It's always the elite that benefit.
Salary. But what do you get? I know what Kamala Harris got when she was nominated or selected by Joe Biden to be his vice president. But what did you get to why you went out and voted? You know the difference between Trump, and I'm going to let it go. The difference between Trump, and I'm not saying that I'm a Trump fan. What I'm saying is that somebody said to me,
are you saying you're not a Trump fan?
I like him as a person now. I didn't like, when he got in, I didn't like him. But I grew to like him. And I'm going to tell you why. We could go in a meeting room right now in the White House with Trump, and then you start talking, because you can see him coming. You already know where he's coming from. And he'd be like, hey, man, nobody asked you nothing. You didn't get the speaking part. Be quiet. Joe Biden is the type that'll be like, man, you got some great ideas, and we need to implement them. And then when you walk out the room, you'll be like, man, throw that shit in the trash. I'd rather deal with what I know, and I can see, you see what I'm saying? Because he's going to be blunt with you. And he didn't just do it with black people. He did, man, you know how many white people are suing him right now?
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, I mean,
it's a little of a non sequitur, I feel, but I mean,
what did we get?
You have a point. Yes.
What did we get? What did we get? Ice Cube tried to say. Ice Cube said,
"Contract Black America."
We got social media banner and digital high fives.
Yeah, we got. I'm sure a lot of white folks changed their icon to George Floyd or something like that. Or and I know a lot of people have been offended on my behalf and have protected me from evils like Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, and I suppose I should appreciate them shielding me from all the evils of the world.
But you didn't even know it was. I mean, as intelligent as I am, I didn't know.
You didn't know what? That you were supposed to be offended?
That Aunt Jemima was supposed to be like a pickaninny or something?
They didn't. No, she's a mammy. She's not a pickaninny.
Okay.
Pickaninnies, all right.
It's a male, I think. Right?
No, pickaninnies were the kids.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I mean, think about the Washington football team.
The Commanders.
Oh, that's what they are now.
Yeah, they got Carson Wentz today.
Did they?
Yeah, they got
Denver got.
Yeah.
I need another reason to go back, but what I'm saying, like, okay, so check this out. Do you think that when people were cheering for the Washington Redskins, that they were like, "Yep," he's like, "These goddamn Native Americans, we got them out of here." You know what I mean?
Yes.
People ain't even thinking about that, man.
Yes.
This cancel culture is out of control.
Well, these are. Sorry, go ahead, bros.
But it's not clear cut though, and that's the thing about it. Like I mean, there are nuances on top of nuances when it comes to this, and it's really just a matter of your perspective. You know what I mean? So it's one of those. It almost boils down to a change the channel type of thing, because the institutions and the symbolism that's still in place, it does matter when these things are still operating to a certain degree in certain select neighborhoods and with select demographics. So it does matter to a certain degree. I think that we're scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point. And like I said, the unintended consequences is that everything ends up being whitewashed or becomes so augmented to the point to where it's offensive even to the people that is trying not to, you know what I'm saying, that is trying to reconcile with.
I think perception is reality. I do agree with you, though. I just think that if you want to find discrimination in something, you can find it. You know what I mean? And that's just my personal belief. I mean, I think that there are some things that are discriminatory.
The bulk of McDonald's commercials are generally minorities.
Don't let them bring back the McRib sandwich. Watch a McRib.
And I don't take offense.
commercial.
I don't take offense to that, but it is something you notice. It's generally. I mean, it's probably a good thing, but
You know, everybody. I'm not a McDonald's fan, but I would just say, out of the billions and billions that they've serviced when the McRib came out, I'm sure that was not exclusively a black thing.
But it's always some black guy that's there, and he's got barbecue sauce dripping on his shirt because he's just. You've seen the commercial.
you can't control.
I can say with absolute certainty. I remember the '80s when the McRib came out, or they do it cyclically, so maybe it was out before that. But I mean,
It's like Chevy Truck Month.
yeah, I was around a bunch of white folks. They love McRib.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it was not a
fucking processed,
particularly
molded
black thing. Yes,
rib
I
meat.
don't know. I
The fuck?
shudder to think what's actually in that freaking thing.
Right.
But I guess my thing is that, like, and again, we started getting the McDonald's, and maybe that's a little different. That gets something a little more relevant. But like, out of all the problems that are plaguing black people, this is what we get, right? Like, we get like a black vice president who just is terrible, right?
She's selectively black, but I can
Sure. Well, yeah, and I am with you on that. We can do a whole show on that.
Not for me, but how
you.
she operates.
Yeah, Well, that's I don't want to get into that one right now, but point well taken. I
don't know.
But like all these symbolic gestures when. Look at the LG. Look, so go back to the "Don't Say Gay" thing. So the thing about "Don't Say Gay" is that like all this uproar. So it's about like, at least my understanding is it's about like putting gender, sexuality stuff in the curriculum for kids before like the 3rd grade or something like that. Which again, like I think most people could like be like, 3rd grade. So that really be like? I mean, it doesn't sound super unreasonable to me. But the point is that you make a big deal out of that. But like the real issue in the schools is that these kids ain't getting educated. Like whether they talk about sexuality or not is so far down the road of like the things that actually matter. But that's the whole thing. It's like the whole thing when they talk about Georgia vote, they talk about water, right? They don't talk about like the real problem is the fact that the lines are long. They talk about water. They talk about the fact that like when people are in line for a long time, they can't get water, which is not really true. It's not really true. But
that's discrimination because Lord knows people can't have their own bottled water with them. So if people can't bring them bottled water, it's discrimination and it's racist.
Right. But the bigger point here though is that like if you are in a voting precinct that has a long line and the majority of the people who run that precinct and the majority of people who vote in that precinct are black, then there is a high probability that the people running that precinct are black. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this ain't a bunch of white people just sitting around trying to figure out how to keep black people in long lines. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like that bill is trying to get after that.
Wait, so you saying there's not a white supervisor that walks over and it's like, he's like, you're processing these ballots a little too fast.
Let's put a few of those machines in the back. Let's put those machines in the back.
First of all, it's mostly retirees
sure.
anyway.
Yes, of course. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't seen anybody under the age of 55 at my precinct. I've been voting since I was 18.
Me either.
They all seniors, all of them.
Yeah.
Bridge Club, Dorcas Club, Women's Club.
Word.
Bingo
And
night.
so hold on. So when Stacey Abrams loses the election, and and there's this big uproar about like voting in Georgia, and there's this whole thing about how like, oh, these machines may be compromised, and they're inferring that there's cheating going on in the election, right? That was the whole thing, right?
That was the inference.
So you remember what happened? They changed the way we vote, and it is worse now. Like, instead of going in and casting your card, putting the thing, you got to go in, you got to print some shit out, you got to scan that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I almost walked out the precinct with the damn paper in my hand. I was like, oh, nobody stopped me. I was like, oh, what's this in my? Oh, I gotta go. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we have now.
This is the tag team that happens when you have a Republican governor and a Democratic mayor. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get like these weird little power struggles. And with the voting thing, I'm just like, how can the Secretary of State who oversees the election not be required to vacate that office and run for governor? So it started with that right there for me already.
The Democrats said nothing about that when Kathy Cox, who was a Democrat Secretary of State, ran for it like 15 years ago.
I wasn't woke then, man. I wasn't up here with y'all then. I ain't know about those things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
he doesn't run the elections though. The counties. That's the thing. The counties run the elections. The counties are the ones that execute the elections. So for me, it's not a bit. I mean, I get why some people might feel a certain way about it, but I think the reality of how elections are run don't make being Secretary of State a disqualifying thing. But that is my opinion.
But he did do some massaging though.
What kind of massaging did he do?
He did, he went back in. He did use his like his access to go in and like really, really, really scrub the voter polls. Like do a thorough scrub.
Yeah, the rolls. Yes.
Well, the rolls.
We had one of the lowest of big cities. Then we had one of the lower mortality rates for COVID, quote unquote.
I don't know.
Well, in comparison to a lot of other big cities.
COVID was in Atlanta.
Well, certainly compared to
right.
Yeah, I mean,
probably compared to like New York, especially early on. Certainly.
Atlanta was definitely the first one, which is I commend Brian Kemp for that.
That's what I was about to say. Would you guys have rather? Because Stacey Abrams would have kept it shut down. I
don't know that for sure, but you're probably right. You're probably right.
I'm a moderate. I'm not fucking with either side. Some on this side do good. Some on this side do good. I pay attention to what makes sense. And the shit that Brian Kemp made sure that money.
I was about to say, if you're an entrepreneur,
yes,
you was rolling with Brian Kemp
and
because your business
got no. I think
that's why Kemp is going to beat Purdue and is going to beat Abrams because number one, Kemp stood up to Trump. You know what I'm saying? You can't use that on him
twice.
Exactly.
Really twice.
You can't use that. And I mean, he was like, and especially not a lot of stuff about like how lockdowns are ineffective
and relaxed the gun laws.
He kept his foot on Keisha's neck too, man.
Like, yeah, because she was on some bullshit.
He kept his foot on her neck.
Yeah, she was on some shit, and again, the biggest own for me for Kemp was when they were in court over the whole mask mandate, and he busted out a picture of Greenbrier Mall. And he was like, this is a bunch of it was dudes just all together, whatever. He was like, now, y'all have a mask mandate in place, and you got this. Y'all ain't enforcing shit. How y'all gonna put some more shit in place? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I was not a fan of how Keisha handled that. Now, she could have been worse. She could have been a lot worse. Still wasn't a big fan, though.
It forces a delicate dance, you know what I'm saying? But I would definitely say this. As a black man in this country, there are other places that you can do well as a black man, but in terms of just overall comfort and safety, I wouldn't want to be anywhere other than Georgia as long as we can keep somebody that's not gonna fuck with our guns.
He won't, and at least in Georgia you can buy your freedom, and
that's why Stacey Abrams is probably never ever going to be governor. Not to say she's not qualified or wouldn't do a good job in certain areas.
She probably would do a good job in certain areas.
Yeah, certain areas, you know what I'm saying? But when you talk about fucking with a regional culture of violence, like our guns are that's everything. Guns, football, and trucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like for real, and
Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And Jesus.
And fishing.
Oh yeah. So we got a couple minutes, and I want to final thought this thing. We're gonna chop this up edit it, put some clips out there, in the next couple of days, and we'll have to do that. But anyway, here's the point. There was a time that, homosexuals didn't feel comfortable coming out. I'm glad that they're in a place now where they can be themselves, or who they want to be. The problem with this is that we got to know when we got to stop. Stop pushing things that are not necessarily top priority. And if you don't want people looking at you in a certain way, and let's just be honest, whether or not it's your truth or not, because everybody's got their truth, and I'll let you guys do your thing and I'm done. The reality of things is that it's an unnatural process. And so some people would see it as sexual deviant behavior. Now, and I would also say that means it needs to kind of be kept to yourself. What you do in your bedroom need to be kept to yourself. But when you open your mouth up, if I open my mouth up on radio or on social media, I have to know that I'm subject to ridicule. Okay? So if I said that I had some weird sexual fetish where I like women to play with my crotch with their feet at the dinner table, and I walked around telling everybody that, or wore a label that said that, people are going to say things about me. Go ahead, guys.
Unless you, I don't want to. Why I gotta follow?
That's a tough act to follow. I'll try.
Like, are you serious? Look right
yeah, I don't know that that's the fairest comparison in the world that you just made. But I don't think, and again, maybe I have not read that. I usually try to read these laws before I talk about them. But the real disappointment for me on the whole "don't say gay" thing, which again, that's like Democrat branding of the bill. That's what they call it. Is that it's just so hard to get. There's just one clear narrative that's out there, and it's a lot harder to understand the fuller context than I would like it to be. But it does not, at least as far as I've read, and there could be some things I missed, but it doesn't seem super unreasonable. And the core argument they're making is that give parents time to have these conversations at home, which I think is fair.
Yeah, I'm not upset at the bill. Kids are impressionable. I remember the first time growing up, I was watching 2020 with my mother and father. I think I was about, maybe between ages 10 and 12. I didn't even know what trans was until 2020 had aired that, special. So again, I think what is happening is, especially when young kids are growing up these days, is they're just ideas, right? And they may see something and be like, you know what? They might not actually be that, but they might attach themselves to that just because that's what they were exposed to. Or it could seem cool, It could seem cool. So no, it's definitely dangerous. It's definitely dangerous.
You ain't got to if you don't want to.
Life is interesting, man. It's just so many nuances. At the end of the day, if it's a small percentage of people who are experiencing different feelings at a young age, and the only reason why I bring that up is just because, like if someone comes out and their parents be like, oh yeah, we knew when you were such and such. You know what I mean? Like it's not clear cut like that. I don't necessarily feel like people, because that would have a psychological effect on someone not being able to even just be themselves, knowing that people understand that is a potential reality. So it's such a slippery slope. I agree with the sentiments, overall. Give parents an opportunity, but then parents don't really know how to even approach it themselves. This is not really an easy topic, and I don't really know. I'm trying to figure out why should it even be legislation. You know what I mean? It's a waste of taxpayers' money unless it's like some overt discrimination that can be that's been documented. You know what I mean? Because this is also the same state that you can't call a white person racist pretty soon. So it's a lot of shit going on down here in Florida. This is Florida, right?
This is Florida.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm sorry. I just
Let
want
me
to
quickly.
piggyback-
Go ahead.
I just want to piggyback off that too. You think they focus on beefing up the security for those schools down there too?
Damn. That's too soon?
Apparently, I would just say that I am generally against a lot of these laws that are being passed where they're trying to tell these teachers what they can and can't teach. But some are more reasonable than others. And some are just so broadly and terribly written that you could outlaw almost anything in the classroom. As I've heard the whole "don't say gay" thing explained, it doesn't feel like it's that. Again, I'm always hesitant about this sort of thing, but my whole thing is I just don't think it's the disaster that people are making it out to be. But there's a lot to be said about like trying to control what happens in the classroom. The actual answer to that: school choice. So you can send your kids to a school that agrees with what you want your kids to learn.
All right.
Pay these folks.
On that note, I'll say one last thing, and then we're going to do the sayonara. Look, if I just call myself educated and handsome, that's how I feel about myself. But nobody else is under any obligation to address me as that, just because that's what I think I am. East Point, smoke some dank.
Call it Paul.
Old National got the skanks.